Young Miami, you looked so amazing last night, and I am just so proud of you. Let's talk about it. Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on. I'm really moved. I am so happy for Young Miami, aka Carisha. Please. She was so deserving of being at the Met Gala last night. Like, she served, like, when I think of, like, Young Miami, or the City Girls, period, I think of fashion. I think of girls who like looks and turn looks. And Carisha, Young Miami, has been doing that consistently. If there was any of the rap girls who needed to be there, it needed to be the City Girls, and it needed to be Young Miami. Period. I'm so glad that we got a chance to see Young Miami, because honestly, in conversations that I was having with friends, I was like, have the City Girls ever been to the Met Gala? Has anybody ever invited them? Like, what's going on? Because the City Girls have had so many cultural moments throughout, like, black culture, pop culture, period. Like, even me saying period, like, people have been saying period forever, but them saying it, like, it has given it even more eyes and more ears. And I just love the City Girls down, and they've just been eating it up. They've been consistently, growing. Their performances have consistently got better. There is not one bad verse from them.
These my queens, these my girls. How to pretend?
Maybe the grown, y'all. I don't.
We out tonight, probably. City Girls going hard.
But even maybe the growing, y'all, even Lil Nas X, in response to his outfit at the Met Gala, he tweeted and said, maybe the growing, y'all. Like, that is Young Miami's, like, thing that she said on Twitter, that is just like, it's a cultural reference. Like, she needed to be there. So I just want to have a real conversation, because this is the first time that we've seen Young Miami at the Met Gala, and she was there with Diddy. And I feel like that says a lot, and if you're paying attention, you would know. The City Girls have never been to the Met Gala. Like, they've been to the after parties, but I've never seen them at the Met Gala. I've never seen them. I don't think they've ever been there. To my knowledge, like, I looked at them, I didn't see anything, but girl, some stuff pops up. So with that being said, the fact that Young Miami's first time, her being there, was with Diddy, is very telling. Now, there's been a lot of conversation. Even last night, Diddy was asked by Lala on the red carpet, like, are y'all together real bad? Like, what's going on? Because, Carisha has, like, said that her and Diddy, parted their ways or whatever, like, da-da-da-da. It's an on and off relationship or whatever. I've already said that Diddy is not in the relationship with Young Miami. Honestly, it's no shade. I like Young Miami a lot. I'm not a fan of Diddy. He's done some real terrible things in the industry. I'm just not a fan of him at all. Actually, go back and watch some of the interviews that Lil' Kim has done when she talked about Diddy not even writing her while she was in jail. I'm just not a fan of Diddy at all. Young Miami and Diddy relationship basically is PR. Like, it is basically PR, but I'm not really mad at it after seeing this Met Gala stuff. I'm not really mad at it. I've never really been mad or anything. I'm just like, girl, this is not real. I've been picked it up and said, like, this is giving PR and da-da-da, and it does a lot for Diddy, because it keeps Diddy young and fresh. First of all, Diddy don't like black women. He do not like black women. If he does find a black woman, they're more than likely light-skinned. And then the few dark-skinned women that he has been with, he's not had a good, track record with them. He's done some really shady stuff to them. And I'm just not a fan of Diddy, but I like what he's doing with Young Miami. The fact that Young Miami was there at the Met Gala, with him, that is him bringing her in and giving her access. Because I'm sure that Diddy realizes that although Carisha, Young Miami, is extremely talented, we've already talked about the cultural references and everything of her, the cultural significance of Young Miami. And the fact that she's never been to the Met Gala and her first time is with Diddy. I'm pretty sure Diddy realizes that like giving her access, this whole relationship has been about access. And I am glad that Diddy is using his access to give another black woman some access. But at the same time, it just lets us know of how much work black women have to do to get in, to be mainstream, to be seen when it comes to this industry. The fact that these girls came out, I think like in 2018, JT went to jail, they still were afloat, like they still are relevant in 2023, still doing shows, still showing up. They have the sauce, they have it. And the fact that they've never been on this red carpet is very telling. When we think about other folks who have received their first invitation only a year after like getting some type of mainstream attention, and I'm talking about Ice Spice. This is not a video to drag Ice Spice, but it is to talk about the ways in which like colorism moves in the industry, anti-blackness moves through the industry, and how hard it is for dark-skinned female rappers to be seen. Like, I keep talking about this and I keep giving examples because I want people to understand that people are not out here like jealous or upset. It's the fact that someone as relevant as a Carisha, as a Young Miami, like even us even knowing her name by the way of Carisha Please, like very relevant person who's been able to still remain relevant over the last couple of years, even like during the pandemic, like even when her other like partner was not here. All the things that Young Miami has experienced with losing her baby daddy, all that stuff, like she's still doing her thing, and I'm proud of her. And the fact that she's never been invited until now, and kind of by way of Diddy. And that's not to take a dig, because I want people to understand that me saying that she went by way of Diddy is not a drag at Young Miami. It is a drag at the industry and how they treat black, dark-skinned women. And in this case, we're talking about black, dark-skinned female rappers. Like, it's just not happening. It's disappointing. And I'm not saying that Ice Spice doesn't deserve to be there. Like, first of all, this is like a very white space, whatever. Like, I'm not saying that, oh, she's not good enough for that. But the fact that this is her, like, first year, like, being, like, relevant or somewhat mainstream, and the fact that she's already, like, making moves that these other girls have not been able to in a longer period of time. And I'm just confused how people don't see that. And I feel like people do see it, but they don't want to say what it actually is. I think a lot of us see what is going on, but a lot of us are nervous and scared to actually name it because we don't want to take anything away from the artist, the one that like we're talking about, the industry giving them a leg up, and the other artists who are not getting a leg up. I specifically remember when people were talking about Ari Lennox and how talented she is, and you know how her being dark skinned is one of the things that like kind of hurts her from being like mainstream or bigger. And Ari Lennox didn't like that criticism. She didn't like that. She didn't like that comparison. But it is definitely a thing. I know we want to, you know, stick our head in the sand and act like, you know, colorism isn't a thing because some folks are tired of hearing it. But it is a thing. Anti-blackness is a thing. Look at the world we live in. And if you are tired of hearing conversations about colorism and anti-blackness, and you're tired of hearing about it, period, I don't know what to tell you. Because I'm tired of living in an anti-black world. Period. I'm tired of living in this type of world. So I don't know what to tell you. And what's interesting about this is, I was literally a week ago when I first heard about the Met Gala being like, you know, coming up, I was like, oh, have the City Girls ever been, like before it was even announced or even said that Ice Spice was going, I was like, have the City Girls ever been Like, have they ever been like, what's going on with it? And people's like, oh wow, like the fact that they haven't, like, wow, like what's going on? And when I saw Young Miami, like, I was just like, period. Like, seeing her was the uplift I needed after a terrible Monday that I had experienced. Like, I needed that. Like, it was a pick-me-up. I was like, so glad to see someone who is deserving, someone who is talented, someone who deserves to be in this space, because she is as culturally relevant as the people in that room. And she's culturally relevant to Black folks. And I think that's the thing that, like, the industry doesn't see her necessarily, because the folks that we consider, like, you know, they say a thing like Black famous. Like, you can be famous and Black, but not famous. And not saying that Carisha, Young Miami, is Black famous, because people know who she is. Like, there's gifts of her, like the Flued Out. Even that, like, there are folks who probably don't even listen to City Girls who use Flued Out, know what Flued Out means, remember the memes, remember that it was like a cultural moment in pop culture. Like, this is that girl, like, she is that girl. Don't play with her. Like, and she be eating, like, when she be in the music video, she be like, I just love it. I'm just so happy. But I think the thing was just the realization of how the industry moves and how it just does not treat Black dark-skinned women. And seeing Young Miami there was like a good moment, but I was also reminded that she was there by the way of Diddy. Not saying that they didn't invite her or she had to use Diddy, but the first time of seeing her, she wasn't by herself, and she deserved to be there by herself or either with JT, period. But, you know, Diddy did look good. Carisha, you looked amazing. I'm not going to really talk about the other looks probably later on. I'm just so glad to like see like her in that moment. I think it really did something for my spirit. I know it did something for my spirit, but it also just like again, it just reminded me of how tough it is, how tough it is. And I am, you know, as much as I'm not a fan of Diddy, I'm glad that he is using his access to amplify this Black woman who is very, very deserving of the access and should be getting the access. But we know the reasons why she is not receiving as much. But, you know, let me know your thoughts, how you thought about it when you seen it, The Diddy and Carisha relationship thing, girl, that's a whole conversation. I probably already did a video about it, but didn't talk about it as much, but just this moment and how, you know, she was able to use that to get into this room, period. Let me know your thoughts, what you think about the whole thing in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Y'all already know what time it is. I got the Black V-neck on.